Hey friends, it's great to be with you today. It is March the 21st, and we are hearing Moses' final words today. And reading through the Bible chronologically, I've said this before, you fall in love with and you meet the people of the Bible. I no longer call them characters, because I'm not just studying them randomly handpicked and they're not characters to me. They're people. And we see them born. We see them lead. We see them fail. We see them obey. We see them triumph. We see them be victorious. And in this case, and in many other cases, we see them pass. And this is where we are with Moses. We remember Moses was born, and he was born to die, truly, because he was under death threat. And his mother miraculously saved him and knew that his life was going to be something special. Honestly, it just seems like yesterday that we started reading about him, and here we are at the end of his life. And I wonder, when I read this, the Song of Moses, I wonder what the people thought. It says that he recited this entire song publicly to the assembly of Israel. And I love this because he says, "Listen, O heavens, I will speak. Hear, O earth, the words that I say. Listen, my teachings fall on you like rain. Let my speech settle like dew. Let my words fall like rain on tender grass. Let gentle showers on young showers on young plants. I will proclaim the name of the Lord. How glorious is our God! He is the rock. His deeds are perfect." Remember, this is a guy who's not getting to go into the promised land, but yet he says his deeds are perfect. Everything he does is just and fair. Again, he is a faithful God who does no wrong. How just and upright he is. And I wonder, I can almost hear the crowd just like kind of roaring or getting ready to do kind of some high fives and some whoop whoops. And then all of a sudden, but they have acted corruptly towards him. And I wonder if in the middle of their whoop, they go, "Oh," because wow. There's some chastising statements in this final song and this final word of Moses. And I want to talk about just one little section that he further chastised them and calls them out, and says this in verse 15. "But Israel soon became fat and unruly. The people grew heavy, plump, and stuffed. They abandoned the God who had made them. They made light of the rock of their salvation. They stirred up his jealousy by worshiping foreign gods. They provoked his fury with detestable deeds. They offered sacrifices to demons, which are not God, to gods that they had not known before, to gods only recently arrived, to gods their ancestors had never feared. You neglected the rock who had fathered you. You forgot the God who had given you birth. Stirred up, provoked, offered sacrifices, neglected, abandoned." These are very, very strong and difficult words to take in. And the idea here to be fat is not to be physically fat. It is to be prosperous and arrogant, is how that word is defined there. Basically, it's fat faith and prosperous faith, that they just feel like that they don't need God. And you know what? There are seasons in our lives, I know for me for sure, that I've just had fat faith. And I just wrote down some of the things that, aside from all of this, stirring up and provoking, neglecting the rock who had fathered you. What happens when we allow our faith to get fat is we do stir up and provoke God. So we have to be really careful to guard our faith and make sure that we are nourishing our faith with good nutrients and not, dare I say the pun, processed, thinking of fat in terms of fat intake from food that are processed. Maybe I'm going to stretch that a little bit. I better not go there. But so let's talk about this. How does our faith become fat? Or when does our faith become fat? When our quiet times are no longer a priority to us. When we feel like we can skip days without being in God's Word. Maybe you're there now where you feel like, okay, well, I didn't get hit by a bus yesterday. I didn't have my quiet time. I didn't get hit by a bus yesterday, or I didn't get sick, or nothing really bad happened. So, if I'm really tired tomorrow morning, I'm just going to sleep tomorrow morning too. Really? Okay. God's not going to just slap you. He's not going to do that. He's a gentleman. I've said that before. He doesn't force himself on us. We need to be very careful that when our quiet time with God is no longer a priority, our faith might be arrogant. It may be fat. When our decisions are made without prayer, when we get to the place where we don't even feel like we need to consult God on things, our faith has gotten fat. When we live life on autopilot rather than God-centered, we need to be alarmed. When we're just going through the motions, when we forget our Bible to church on Sundays, and yes, that's an important thing. And yes, let me just say this. I get it that there are apps out there and on our phones, and we have our phones in our hands at all times. I get all that. But there is something to be said about grabbing your copy of the book of instruction and taking it to church on Sunday. I'm old school. I love my Bible app because when I'm out and about during the week and I'm somewhere and I need to look something up, I've got them there. I've got several apps. By the way, Enduring the Word has a wonderful free app if you want to put that on your phone or on your tablet. But I am old school, and I have to have my Bible with me. So if I'm just on autopilot and I'm just getting up, I'm heading out to church on Sunday without a Bible in my hand, I'm on autopilot. That's for me. I'm on autopilot. If I don't know where my Bible is, I am really on autopilot. I'm in trouble. I'm in dangerous territory. And when others become unimportant and I start to take precedence, I have a problem with my faith. My faith is fat. I have forgotten the most important things. Because I'm no longer considering other people. I'm only considering myself. There's a huge issue there. And when that happens, we're going to stir God up. And we're going to end up neglecting Him. We're also going to provoke Him. And possibly bring about discipline to us. And we might have some side effects from our choices of having fat faith. It's a dangerous place to be when we allow our lives to go on autopilot. We make our decisions without prayer. We take precedence over everybody around us. And we make decisions about life without prayer. And we become the priority in our own lives, and we no longer have a priority in our lives to spend time in His Word. If you've checked off any of those, which I had to check off a couple, we need to be alarmed. I wrote in my something to do, don't become fat in my faith. Don't become fat in my faith, Wendy. We'll see you tomorrow on Read Through the Word.